What's going on, guys? Jake here from the Fly Fiend. Welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. Today we're going to be tying up this wired thorax midge. Awesome little dropper pattern. I primarily fish this on my European nymphing rig as my dropper. You can also fish this on a dry dropper or even just a traditional nymphing rig very effectively. It's a super sleek pattern, cuts water very nice. It is an unweighted fly, but that little bit of wire at the front for the thorax does help this fly get down a little bit faster. Super durable. You can bang it off rocks all day, catch fish all day on it, and not have to worry about anything tearing off or breaking apart. That being said, I'm going to throw a fresh hook in the vise and get going with this tutorial. The hook I'm tying this fly on is a Firehole Outdoors Sticks. This is their model 320 in a size 16. Also fish this on a 18 and a 20 as well. The first thing we're going to do is actually build up our thorax. And for that we're going to be using some uni wire in a size small, and the color is neon olive. What I like to do is start my wire on the shank. I'm going to build up a little base here with about 10 or 12 wraps, just like so. I'm actually just going to push this out of the way a little bit. Then I'm going to come in with some super glue. I'm just going to put a dab of super glue where I want that thorax to sit. That's just going to help the wire from spinning around the shank when I'm wrapping it in. So I'm just going to let that sit for a second. While I'm letting that sit, I can grab an old pair of scissors, and I'm actually going to cut out this wire. It's a lot easier to cut it out than it is to spin it out. You can kind of just try to get your little tag piece here pushed up, just like so. Now what I'm going to do with my longer piece here is actually just start building up my thorax. All I'm doing is making touching wraps on top of my base. Then once I get to the end, I'll come back the other way and just make touching wraps again. Until I just run out of flat area. So what I'm actually going to do now is cut this piece out, and because you're cutting it, it will be a little loose, but once you put that UV curing resin on it, it'll be fine. So we're going to throw some, the first thing I like to do is put some thick on it. I'm just going to put a nice little dab of thick UV curing resin. I can just move that around. With the tips of my scissors. Then I can actually just cure that. Then I'm going to come in with a flow. And that's just going to fill in all those little imperfections. I usually spin it upside down, but if I do, it's going to be out of frame, so try and do the best I can. Just like that. Cure that up. And you should have a nice little round thorax. When you put that initial thick on, just give it a second for it to kind of fall down into your wire wraps. This is going to hold it a lot more. It's going to have a lot more strength when you let it kind of seep down than just come over it with a flow or a thin, just to make it nice and round and smooth. So now we're going to actually start our thread here. For a thread, we're going to be using some UTC 70 denier in dark brown. I'm going to start that right behind the thorax. Cut out my excess. We're going to tie in our tail. And for our tail, we're going to be using a little bit of crystal flash. And this is a color peacock. Now I'm going to fold this piece in half. I'm going to grab 1, 2, 3 strands, and that's what I'm going to be using for the tail section. We're going to put this right on top of this hook shank, like so. We're going to take this deep down into the bend. Bring our thread back up. Now I'm actually going to cut this to a rough length. I like these to be pretty short. What I actually like to do is cut all 3 of them at different lengths. It just helps with the water. I find that they stick together. So you can see there, I kind of have them in 3 different lengths, just so the water doesn't stick them all together to become one. For the rib, we're going to be using this same uni wire in the size small in the neon olive. And we're just going to tie this on the side of the shank facing the camera. So on the opposite side of you tying. We're just going to bring that wire down into that bend. Just build up a little tapered body here. Then we can grab that wire, make our open spiral wraps up the body, creating that segmentation. Then once you reach the back of that thorax, capture it, helicopter it out. Then you can make a 4 or 5 turn whip finish. Just like that. Cut out your thread. Then I'm going to come back over with some thin. That's just going to add more durability and a little bit of put a little bit of shine on it. So I'm going to cure that. Once that's cured, you're pretty much good to go. Super durable fly. I can fish this all day without anything breaking off or coming apart. Perfect little dropper pattern in my opinion. You can tie this up in all kinds of different colors. I like to also tie this in a blue, kind of like the poison tungsten color. that works really well for me as well, and just a natural brown. So hope you liked today's tutorial, guys. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about this fly or actually like to purchase this fly, you can check out theflyfiend.com. I have all my flies on there for sale. If you have any questions, drop that down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot again for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next tutorial.